following is a presentation of WCYT Sports.
Laughlin the rebound. The clock hits zero. The Spartans are state champions. They avenged the loss from 2 years ago, and they'll take home a state championship.
Hands it off to Grant Raber, going at the 15, down to the 5. Gets into the end zone for Homestead. 15-yard run for Grant Raber. Gets Homestead on the board.
Trying to get inside. Nothing there. Step back. Open three. It's gone. Todd Curry knocks it down. Spartans win. Spartans win.
On your dial at 91.1 FM and online at WCYT.org, it's time for the action of Homestead Spartan Athletics.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Homestead High School for this evening's girls basketball non-conference matchup featuring the visiting team on the scoreboard, the 0-1 Northridge Raiders, who are coached by Doug Springer, who's in his 13th season at Northridge in the home team. The 1-0 number 1 ranked team in the state, Homestead Lady Spartans, who are coached by Rod Parker, who was in his 19th season at Homestead. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Matt Salfrank alongside Braden Carroll, and we're just about 18 minutes or so away from tip-off of tonight's game. So right now, let's start with the Casa Ristorante pregame show. And before we get into the matchup tonight, let's take a look back to some of our predictions we made last Saturday. I went 4-2, and Braden, you somehow went 6-0. The difference was I had Central Noble over Bishop Luers, and of course Bishop Luers won that one 51-18, and then Southside and Indianapolis Cathedral. I thought Southside very good this season, returning a lot of talent, J.C. Jones, Olivia Smith, but somehow Indianapolis Cathedral wins that one 65-58. So after the first day of picks, you're 6-0, and I'm 4-2 somehow.
I'm telling you, I can sniff out upsets just like that. Yeah, I wasn't very confident in that one, considering Southside is one of the better teams in the conference, but they were able to pull one out against Cathedral.
Yeah, and let's just take a look to some of the actual scores on Saturday. Carroll having a huge comeback over Columbia City, ended up winning that one by 10. Concordia put on a dominating performance against New Haven. They won that one in a blowout. And Northrop won 68-37 over Leo, and obviously Homestead, they won 47-46 over the Carmel Greyhounds on a late Grace Sullivan free throw. Carmel had 2 free throws with no time remaining, had to make one to send it to overtime, and the player missed both. And in the other game, Noblesville blew out the Snyder Panthers 70-31. And looking at some of the games from Tuesday, DeKalb blew out Northside 67-19. Concordia won a close one over a very good Belmont team 32-30. A very low-scoring game, a very defensive battle. Dwanger picking the win over East Noble. Luers, another impressive win over a very good Angola team. Then Huntington North handing Snyder their second straight loss. And then last night we had Leo over Wayne 46-30. And I guess that takes us to some of the games that are happening tonight and tomorrow. Homestead's next game is Saturday, so we'll pick some games from tonight and Friday. First one, Bluffton at Bishop Dwanger. Who you got in that one?
I got Dwanger in that one. They're coming off of a solid win against East Noble. They have a lot of morale heading into this game, and I think they can definitely pull one out against a not as tough Bluffton team.
Yeah, Bluffton coming off a 62-39 loss in the season opener to Winchester. And the Tigers are in Class 2A, have a pretty easy sectional this year. They also won their sectional last season, so looking to repeat in Class 2A. Then Bishop Dwanger, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, they're coming off a 46-25 win over East Noble on Tuesday night. Dwanger, they're in a very tough sectional in Class 3A. Concordia and Angola, both very good teams in their sectional, but I'm going to take Bishop Dwanger in that one. Another game that's on tonight, we have Wayne at Blackford. Who do you have in that one?
These teams, last year, it was pretty bad, pretty dismal for both these teams. Only one win each. It's pretty much a coin flip here. I'm going to go with Wayne, just considering that they're coming off of a win, which, considering last year, very rare.
Yeah, like you said, Wayne, one win last season, something like 1-20 or 1-21, and Blackford, nearly the identical record, only a single win. The Generals, they opened the season with a 25-point win over Canterbury last Friday. They did lose to Leo last night, 46-30, but the Generals appear to be improved from a season ago. As I mentioned, only won a single game last season, already a win in the season opener over Canterbury. Then Blackford 1-1 on the season. They lost to Southwood in the season opener. They beat Daleville to 36 last Friday. I expect this game to be very low scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner ends up winning something like 29-27 or a very low scoring game. But I'm also going to take Wayne in this one. Then another game that was supposed to be tonight, Bishop Brewers at Southside, the first SAC matchup. That one is postponed. Those are two very good teams. I can see, well, Southside probably the favorite to be the second best team behind Homestead right now in the SAC. But Bishop Brewers, they've looked impressive early on. And some games tomorrow night. We have Carroll at Leo. Who you have in that one?
I have Carroll in that one. Leo's coming off of a pretty bad loss to Northrop. And Northrop, well, they are one of the top teams in the SAC, so that definitely wasn't very impressive for Leo. Carroll, however, is coming off of a win against Columbia City, where they outscored Columbia City 39-12 in the fourth quarter. I think they'll continue that dominance, and they'll head out of this game with a win.
That's kind of crazy. 39 points in a single quarter last season in the SAC Holiday Tournament against the Carroll Chargers. This Homestead team, they put up 30 points in the first quarter, but Carroll to put up 39. That was the fourth quarter, right, against Columbia City. That's very impressive in that comeback win. So Carroll, they were down early, but able to find a way to win. But I'm also going to take the Chargers in this one. Leo, like you said, lost to Heritage and Northrop to start the season. They did beat Wayne last night, but not really sure how much of a statement win that is. I just think Carroll's the better team. I expect probably a blowout in this one. In the final game is actually tomorrow night, Huntington North at Northside. Who do you have?
Well, when you're coming out of a loss 67-19, if you're the Legends, you don't have much confidence heading into the next one. This is easily going to be Huntington North. Northside is going to have a definitely not that good season, so I'm going to give the Vikings a win.
Yeah, Huntington North opened the season a nice win over Snyder, 49-35. I think the Vikings will be towards the middle of the NE8 this season in Northside, coming off, like you said, a 48-point loss to DeKalb on Tuesday. I think this could be a rough year for Northside. I think them, Wayne, and Snyder, probably the three bottom teams in the SAC this year, although it's very early on. But I'm going to pick Huntington North in that one. And now getting into tonight's matchup, and Braden, we take a look back to last Saturday as the Homestead Lady Spartans took on the Carmel Greyhounds in a season-opening matchup. Neither team was able to get out to more than a 6-point lead over the opponent as the game was back and forth the entire way. But the Spartans pulled away late thanks to a Grace Sullivan free throw with 7.2 seconds remaining in regulation, and Homestead opened the season with a 47-46 win over Carmel.
It was a very interesting game to watch. It just seemed like every time one team was pulling away, the other one just came crashing right back in. Homestead Sydney Graber had a double-double with 12 points, 13 rebounds. Also, Riley Parker had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and those were two big factors in getting this team the win.
Yeah, Homestead picking up the 1-point win. We said in the broadcast, neither team really shot it well. Carmel, 18 of 52 in field goals, that's 35%. Homestead, 16 of 47, that's 34%. Spartan shot 21% from 3 of 14. Carmel hit 8 threes, pretty much all of them coming by Kate Clark, who, had 26 points or something like that. It was crazy performance from her, but not good enough. So Homestead, they opened up the season with the win. They had 13 turnovers in that one, but a very good team is Carmel. I think they're now 13th in the state, only dropped 1 spot. And thanks to Center Grove knocking off preseason #1 Hamilton Southeastern over the weekend, this Homestead team moved up a spot in the polls as they now occupy the #1 ranking in the state. We know early rankings mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it's got to be rewarding for a team to see their school at the very top.
Well, yeah, Homestead has been they've been really working towards that #1 spot for a while now, or at least getting there for a while now. 2017 was the state championship. 2018. Last year they had a great season, and then this year they start off with a great win against a solid Carmel team. So I personally think there's no doubt in my mind that they deserve the #1 spot.
Yeah, right now, #1 ranking, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. They just got that because the #1 team lost. And in my interview with Coach Parker, you're going to hear in about 5 minutes or so, he said if we're still ranked #1 in January, then that's going to be something to be proud of. But #1 right now in the Homestead second game, it's still impressive being #1 ranked team in the state, and they're probably going to stay #1 until they lose. But right now, early on in the season, and after that very intense game last Saturday, there was little room for error as the Spartans were not able to get contributions from anyone off the bench. Riley Parker, Sydney Graber, Ayanna Patterson, and Grace Sullivan combined for all 47 points the Spartans scored. Should we expect to see more players get involved in this one?
I think we should expect to see more players involved, but not really when it comes to points. Last game, there were players that were coming off the bench that were able to get some rebounds and some assists, help out the starters get those points. The bench will be able to put up some points. It was definitely an outlier game, the fact that they got 0 points, but they'll mainly focus on assists and rebounds since that's what worked so strongly last week.
Yeah, like I said, Homestead 13 turnovers in that one. It was a big-time game against a very good Carmel team. You really can't expect to put a lot of players that haven't really seen the court in varsity and expect them to do a lot. So I guess it probably wasn't too surprising to see only four players score for the Spartans. Amber Austin, the only starter who did not score for the Spartans. But yeah, tonight I think we'll see a lot more players get involved in this one, and that's going to take us to our first break of the night. But when we come back, we will take a look into what we will see from Homestead's opponent this evening, the 0-1 Northridge Raiders. We'll talk about expectations at Northridge this year, so stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Homestead Lady Spartan basketball, the Point 91 FM.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Marco's Pizza, located at 1345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Arby's at Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zestos. Arby's is more than roast beef with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
And now, let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball, right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School for tonight's girls basketball matchup featuring the number 1 ranked team in the Class 4A Homestead Lady Spartans and the Northridge Raiders. I'm Matt Salfrank alongside Braden Carroll, continuing on in the Homestead basketball pregame show in Braden. We now look to Homestead's opponent tonight, the Northridge Raiders. The Raiders opened the season with a close loss to South Bend, Washington, 53-49 last Saturday. And who are some players to watch out for in this Northridge team tonight?
Well, in my mind, there's one player that you definitely have to watch out for. Juliana Weaver. She had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, but she did have 4 turnovers. But I mean, she had 16 points. That was a huge amount of their output. So she definitely had a huge impact.
And last season, when these teams met, Homestead blew out Northridge 60-34 on the road. The Raiders were a good team last season, finishing with a 17-7 record. And outside of the loss to the Spartans, all of Northridge's 6 other losses came by 8 points or fewer, including a 57-54 double overtime loss in the opening round of sectionals.
Yeah, it was rough for Northridge. They were really good all around, but they just couldn't be able to pull out those wins late in the game. And it was proven in the playoffs after that sectional loss. They were really tough, but they could not finish when it came to the fourth quarter and in the sectionals overtimes.
And similar to Homestead, this Northridge team lost a lot of talent from a season ago. They lose their 5 leading scorers to graduation. I know Homestead, they lost 7 seniors, but obviously returned arguably the 3 best players from a season ago, even though Riley Parker came off the bench. She probably the best 6-man in the area. So this Northridge team, not very experienced, somewhat similar to Homestead. Their leading scorer from a season ago, J.C. Walker, averaged 3.7 points per game. That was in the 2018 to 2019 season. And like you said, Braden, Jules Weaver put up 16 points, 5 boards, 3 steals, and an assist in their season opening loss to South Bend, Washington last Saturday. And that's going to take us to our second break of the night. But when we come back, we will take a look around. Actually, you're going to hear my interview with Homestead head basketball coach Rod Parker, so stay tuned. You're listening to the home of Homestead Spartan basketball, the Point 91 FM.
Arby's at Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
Casa Italian Restaurants, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring Fort Wayne's famous Casa Burro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Online at CasaRestaurants.com. Follow Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports Broadcasts.
Welcome back to the pregame show. I'm now joined by Homestead Spartan girls basketball coach Rod Parker. And Coach, we look back to last weekend as your team took on the Carmel Greyhounds. There are a lot of things to take away from that game, but first, how pleased were you with the team's performance Saturday?
Well, the thing that was most pleasing is we got out of there with a win. So, to play a team like Carmel in your first game and win, you obviously got to be doing some things pretty well. And I thought our kids at times competed hard. I thought they stayed in there. I thought they showed some grit there in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, entering it down 4. So, those are things that we got to take from that game and build on and move forward and keep getting better.
And coming into this season, we knew you had a lot of players with lack of varsity experience as you return only 5 players from last season's roster. And against Carmel, only 4 total players scored. How concerned are you with getting more players involved offensively?
Well, I definitely think as the season goes on, we're going to need to get more kids involved. There's no doubt about that. And, Carmel was a big game and a big task for some of the young kids to go in there and be comfortable in that first varsity game. So, as the year goes on, hopefully tonight we can get some younger kids involved in the offense and give them some confidence because we're definitely going to need some other scorers as the year goes on.
And coming into the season, the Spartans lost starting point guard Kara Geely to graduation. Grace Sullivan, someone who did not get a ton of playing time last year, had a great game on Saturday, scoring 8 points, dishing out 5 assists, and hitting the game-winning free throw. How impressed are you with her performance against the Greyhounds?
Very much so. I thought Grace had a very solid game last week. As you mentioned, knocked down some buckets when we needed to, but I thought she just controlled the game on our end very well. I thought she played great defensively and just carried a lot of good intensity throughout the game.
And in that Carmel game, with every possession so important, not a lot of time to experiment with the rotations. Can we expect to see more players getting minutes over the next few games?
Yeah, and that's something I talked to Coach Angerbrook about this week. We need to get a couple more people in tonight's game and try and get them in early and give them an opportunity to start getting comfortable at the varsity level. But you mentioned it exactly. That last week's game played out to be a very tight game, and I kind of probably went with the little bit of experience that we have that gave me the comfort level, in that first game of the year.
And this Homestead team is currently ranked number 1 in the 4A media poll. How much value, if any, do you place on that ranking as your team proves they are at the top of the state?
Well, really none right now. I mean, it's so early in the year; it's hard to tell. Teams start playing other good teams to see where everyone shakes out. But I think some of that's based on what we've done the last 3, 4, 5 years. But I do think this team is very talented. I think this team can be very good, and I think as the year goes on, we're definitely worthy of being one of the better teams in the state of Indiana. So, with the work cut out for us, I like to think we'd have a similar conversation sometime in January.
And tonight you take on the Northridge Raiders, a team you beat fairly easily last season. What do you know about this year's Northridge team?
Well, the nice thing about playing a team like Northridge is they're well coached. They're going to work hard. They're very fundamental. They run their stuff, so we're going to be challenged, on both ends of the court. I know they lost a lot to graduation last year like we did, so a lot of new faces on Northridge's side of the court, but, we're going to expect the team's going to come out and challenge us.
Finally, Coach, what are some keys for Homestead Spartan victory?
Well, we have to take care of the basketball a little bit better than we did last week. And our defense, we can't have breakdowns. And that was probably the one thing that really jumped out at me last week was we had about 5 defensive breakdowns. They gave Carmel some easy shots and some easy points, and we just can't do that to beat anybody, good. So tonight I'm hoping and expecting some more consistent and better defense on our end, and I'd like to see the ball move a little bit better on the offensive end.
All right, Coach, thanks and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of the Casa Ristorante pregame show leading up to tip-off of today's matchup. It's Homestead and Northridge right here on your Spartan Sports Source, the Point 91 FM.
Marco's Pizza, located at 1345 Illinois Road inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Moe's Southwest Grill, located at 6739 West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Dunkin' Donuts Baskin-Robbins. You can contact Moe's by calling 969-MOE's, or for catering, that number is 969-EATS. Moe's specializes in Southwestern foods like burritos, tacos, and nachos with no microwave or freezers. You can visit Moe's online at moes.com. Thank you, Moe's, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead athletic coverage on our station.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Arby's at Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef, with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, and chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
Casa Italian Restaurants, family owned and operated since 1977, with 4 Fort Wayne locations: West Jefferson Boulevard, DuPont Road, Parnell Avenue, and Stellhorn Road. Featuring the Casa Burro salad, wood-burning brick oven pizzas, and over 30 pasta selections. Dine-in or carry-out available, or let Casa cater your next special occasion. Find more information at CasaRestaurants.com or by following Casa on Facebook and Twitter. Casa Italian Restaurants, a proud sponsor of WCYT Sports broadcasts.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Moe's Southwest Grill, located at 6739 West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Dunkin' Donuts Baskin-Robbins. You can contact Moe's by calling 969-MOE's, or for catering, that number is 969-EATS. Moe's specializes in Southwestern foods like burritos, tacos, and nachos with no microwaves or freezers. You can visit Moe's online at moes.com. Thank you, Moe's, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead athletic coverage on our station.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
And now, let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School. We're just a few minutes away from tip-off between the number 1 ranked team in Class 4A. The Homestead Lady Spartans opened the season with a 1-point win over the Carmel Greyhounds last Saturday, and their opponent, the Northridge Raiders, 0-1 on the season, coming off a 53-49 loss to South Bend, Washington last Saturday. Northridge, about an hour and 25-minute drive from Northridge to Homestead, located in Middlebury, a few dozen miles east of South Bend. And this Northridge team used to success. The team has lost 8 or fewer games every season since 2008-2009 season, and we're getting set for some starting lineups now, and starting with the Homestead Spartans, the number 1 ranked team in Class 4A. It'll be the same as the Carmel game. It'll be Grace Sullivan. Scored 8 points in that one, had 5 assists. The team only had 7 assists total, so 5 of the 7 assists for Grace Sullivan. She'll be at the point guard, did a good job handling the ball in that win over Carmel. Riley Parker led the team in scoring at 14 points, 7 rebounds. Signed to Purdue Fort Wayne to play college basketball just a few days ago. Sydney Graber, another starter for the Spartans, also just signed to Central Michigan to play college basketball. She had a double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Ayanna Patterson, not her best game, but was still able to put up 12 points, 13 rebounds, had 3 steals as well. She'll be at the power forward position. Then Amber Austin, the only starter who did not score for the Spartans, so only 4 total players scored for the Spartans. I expect to see some players off the bench, get a little bit more playing time. Northridge, not quite the level of Carmel, but still a very good team. And now the starters for this Northridge team, Maddie Weinert did not score in that game against South Bend Washington, the loss. Erin Mahafa had 6 rebounds. She also didn't score. Jules Weaver led the team with 16 points, 5 rebounds. Kayla Pippinger had 3 points. J.C. Walker, the team's leading returning scorer, had averaged 3.7 points per game. Last season, the team loses their top 5 scores, and I believe the top 6 of 7. So this Northridge team down a little bit, lost a lot of talent. So J.C. Walker, the final starter for this Northridge team, and we're just ready for tip-off. It'll be the Ayanna Patterson to jump for the Spartans. J.C. Walker, 5'10", Patterson 6'3", so the advantage goes to Spartans in the jump. And the ball is up and controlled by the Spartans. Graber has it as Homestead starts the game off with the ball. Parker now on the right side. Beyond the arc, dribbles, calls out a play. 0-0 between Homestead and Northridge. 7:47 to go in the first quarter, and a turnover on the Spartans. A sloppy pass, and Sullivan not able to save it, and over and back. So not the greatest way to start out the game for Homestead. A turnover as Northridge set to inbound. 0-0, 7:45 to go in the first quarter. That's Weiner with the ball. Passes over to Weaver. Now Pippinger back to Weaver. Now on the right side. Top of the key, Pippinger, left side. Player guarded closely by Sullivan. Bounce pass to Pippinger. Drives right side. Picks up a dribble, guarded closely by Graber. Bounce pass over to his teammate Weaver. Northridge really moving the ball around on the outside. Walker back to Weiner. Drives inside. Bounce pass. Sloppy. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Northridge ball. It's 0-0. 7:15 to go in the first quarter.
This has been an interesting start to the game, especially with that turnover by Homestead.
So Northridge ball, they inbound it, and that is Weaver. Reverse layup is good. She was guarded closely by Patterson, but Northridge scores the first basket of this game. It's Northridge 2 to Homestead's 0. 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter. In this one, remember, Homestead ranked number 1 in Class 4A, which is the biggest class in Indiana, so technically the number 1 team in the state. Graber, a three-pointer, that's off the mark. Tipped out of bounds, it'll stay Homestead ball. Northridge leads 2-0, 6:51 to go in the first quarter. Spartans have the ball. It'll be Sullivan set to inbound. Parker's wide open in the right corner. She can find her. No, gives it to Patterson down low. Puts up a shot, and it's good. A good start for Patterson. She struggled in the game against Carmel, but still put up 12 points. A great score from last season, now a sophomore. On the other end, it is Northridge. The player drives inside, picks up a dribble, bounce pass over to Walker. Top of the key for Weaver. Right side, over to Walker. Now left side, left corner. Northridge with it. Bounce pass to Weiner. Drives inside. Northridge really haven't taken too many shots, is passing the ball a ton in this one, compared to Homestead, who's a lot more aggressive. It's 2-2, 6:15 to go in the first quarter. Walker has it for Northridge. Top of the key, Pippinger. Ball knocked around, stolen by Parker for the Spartans. Homestead has it on the attack. Parker finds Sullivan under the basket, over to Patterson, another basket. That's up and good, so Patterson, 4 early points for the Homestead Spartans as they lead 4-2 over Northridge. 5:53 to go in the first quarter. And Weaver has it, gives it over to Pippinger. Dangerous pass, recovered, and double dribble. Turnover going the other way, so 3 subs already, wow, for Northridge. A lot of players come in. It's Miller, Knepp, and it looks like Montala, as Homestead leads 4-2, 5:45 to go in the first quarter. Sullivan takes the ball up the court for the Spartans. Patterson with all 4 points for Homestead. Number 1 ranked team in the state. Patterson thought about the 3, finds Graber at the free throw line, puts up a left-handed shot, and it's good. So Patterson with 4, Graber with 2 points early on for the Spartans. They increase their lead to 4 points. It's now 6-2 Homestead, 5:24 to go in the first quarter. Northridge with the ball on the other end. Walker thought about the 3. Ball knocked around, nearly stolen by Homestead. Northridge still with it. Throw up a shot and travel. So I believe another turnover on Northridge. Homestead leads 6-2, 5:13 to go in the first quarter. Patterson inbounds to Sullivan. Homestead coming off a 1-point win over Carmel thanks to a Grace Sullivan free throw with 7.2 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. On Saturday, Parker, top of the key three, no good. Patterson, the offensive rebound, puts up a shot in the paint, and it's good. Patterson looking amazing early on. 6 points of the team's 8. Graber, the only other points for the Spartans. Homestead increases their lead 8-2 over Northridge. 4:57 to go in the first quarter. Northridge, they opened the game. They were the first team to score in this one, but Patterson really taking over early on in this one.
It was quite the aggressive start by Homestead. Their defense was causing turnovers. They were attempting to swipe the ball, it seemed like every 5 seconds. And Patterson was very aggressive in the paint, getting herself 6 points to start off.
Yeah, Patterson didn't have the greatest game Saturday against Carmel. Still put up 12 points, and I believe quite a few of those were coming at the free throw line. But Patterson, 6 points already as Homestead leads 8-2, 4:57 to go in the first quarter. It's Northridge ball. Homestead 1-0, number 1 ranked team in the state. Northridge 0-1, 4-point loss over the weekend. Northridge ball, pick up her dribble, deflected out of bounds by Amber Austin. It'll stay Northridge ball. Homestead leads 8-2, 4:45 to go in the first quarter.
And there's just another situation of this Homestead defense staying busy.
We saw a lot of deflections for Homestead against Carmel. Jump shot by Northridge, and J.C. Walker drains it, the team's leading returning scorer from last season. Spartans on the other end want to push it. Sullivan goes in the lane, draws the foul. So a basket good by Northridge, cuts it to a 4-point game. Homestead still leads 8-4, 4:36 to go in the first quarter, and foul on Northridge. That's Colleen Miller, her first. It'll be Homestead ball under their own basket. Sullivan set to inbound for the Spartans. A 4-point lead, 4:36 to go in the first quarter. Sullivan, bad pass knocked around on the ground, and it's Northridge who recovers it. It's Weaver, and offensive foul. So Sullivan has a turnover, but able to draw the offensive foul on Northridge. Homestead leads 8-4, 4:30 to go in the first quarter. Spartan ball. Patterson with 6 points early on. Graber with 2. Graber left corner for the Spartans, drives baseline, takes it back out to Sullivan. Passes over to Parker, over to Patterson on the right corner. Picks up her dribble, cross-court pass to Sullivan, top of the key, guarded very closely. A tight defense by Northridge early on in this one, but the Spartans have a 4-point lead. 8-4, 4:07 to go in the first quarter. Austin puts up a shot, and it's good! Amber Austin scores her first points of the season. Homestead now with a 6-point lead. It's 10-4 Spartans, 3:58 to go in the first quarter. Northridge has it. Left corner. Walker thought about the 3, drives inside, and that'll be a blocking foul called on Sydney Graber. But on the last possession for the Spartans, Amber Austin scores her first points of the season. Only 4 players scored in that game for Homestead. Amber Austin, the only starter who didn't score. Another sub for Northridge. Homestead still with their starting lineup out there. In this one, I expect to see a lot of bench players come in compared to the Carmel game. Northridge under their own basket, they score, so Northridge able to score a lot directly underneath the basket. Spartans still lead 10-6, 3:43 to go in the first quarter. Sullivan calls out a play for the Spartans. Graber has a right corner. Passes over to Patterson, top of the key. Sullivan now on the left side. Goes between her legs. Parker, top of the key, 3. No good. Off the back of the iron. Offensive rebound by Patterson. Underneath the basket. Shot up. It's good. Patterson dominating this one early on for the Spartans. She already has 8 points of the team's 12. Homestead a 6-point lead, 12-6, 3:18 to go in the first quarter. Ayanna Patterson dominating this one for the Spartans. Foul. Another offensive foul on Northridge. See, they call Julia Mantala. I believe that's her first. It'll be Homestead ball. Homestead leads 12-6, 3:14 to go in the first quarter. Patterson with 8 points for the Spartans already. Austin has 2 and Graber has 2. Parker bounce pass to Graber underneath the basket. She's rejected. Ball fought for, tipped around, recovered by the Raiders of Northridge. They take it up the court, push it. That's Miller. Hands it off to her teammate Knapp. On the left side now for Weinert. Gets a screen back over to Walker on the right side. Bounce pass for Miller. Over to Walker now, top of the key, guarded by Amber Austin. Hands it off to her teammate Knapp. Northridge with the ball. They trail 12-6, 2:42 to go in the first quarter. Spartans, the early advantage in this one. Patterson is 8. Baseline for Northridge. It's stolen by the Spartans. Parker bounce pass to Graber. Drives other end, spin move, shot up, and it's good off the glass. Sydney Graber, 4 points early on in this one for the Spartans. Patterson has 8 as Homestead increases their lead 14-6, 2:20 to go in the first quarter. And Northridge on the other end, a flashy pass as Knepp scores underneath the basket. It's now 14-8. The Spartans lead 2:10 to go in the first quarter. Looks like we're going to see some subs come in for the Spartans. Next stoppage of play, Graber has on the left side for Homestead. Austin top the key over to Sullivan. Thought about passing it to Patterson. Ball nearly knocked around. Over to Patterson, and looks like they call it to Homestead. And we have Megan Yoder, Maggie Kinsley check in for the Spartans. It looks like Riley Parker and Amber Austin will check out. So Riley Parker started out really hot in the game against Carmel. Has not scored yet. She goes to the bench. Patterson already with 8 points for the Spartans. Graber has 4. Kinsley set to inbound for the Spartans. Finds Sullivan. Homestead with the ball. Kinsley has it on the right side. Finds Patterson down low. Patterson puts up the shot. Oh, in and out. Nearly went in for Patterson. Shot no good. Gets her own rebound. Puts up another shot. That's no good. Graber, the offensive rebound once again. Shot no good. And her follow goes. Homestead had about 4 offensive rebounds on that single play as Homestead increases their lead 16-8 over Northridge. A minute and a half to go in the first quarter. This Homestead team much taller than Northridge and clearly showing on the boards. Northridge on the other end. That's Pippinger. Stolen by the Spartans. Graber nearly had it. Northridge recovers, however. Homestead leads by 8. A minute 12 to go in the first quarter. On the right side, Northridge drives inside. One-handed shot. Foul drawn by Northridge. So goes against the Spartans, and it looks like that foul is on Kinsley. That's her first. She just checked into the game. On the court now, it's Patterson, Yoder, Graber, Kinsley, and Sullivan for the Spartans. Free throw is good. That was Jules Weaver with a free throw to make it a 16-9 game. Homestead leads 1:08 to go in the first quarter. Weaver, second free throw, no good. Patterson, the defensive rebound off the free throw. Spartans have the ball. Patterson finds Sullivan. Homestead leads by 7. A minute to go in the first quarter. 16-9, the Spartans lead. And Yoder's pass deflected out of bounds. Actually, it looks like it was just a turnover on Yoder. So Homestead, another turnover in this one, but they still have a 7-point lead. 57.5 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Spartans lead over Northridge. Patterson, 8 points in this one for the Spartans. Graber has 6, I believe. Northridge, they have the ball. Mantilla with it. Down to 50 seconds in the first quarter. Spartans a 7-point advantage. Bounce pass back to Mantilla. Drives right side, hands it off to her teammate Weaver. Down to 40 seconds. Northridge probably holding for the final shot of this quarter. Left side is Pippinger, guarded closely by Yoder. Pippinger still with it, and looks like 5-second violation on Northridge, so another turnover by the Raiders. Spartans still lead 16-9, 34.2 seconds to go in the first quarter. It'll be Kinsley to inbound for the Spartans. Homestead with a chance to make it a 10-point game if they hit a 3 here. 30 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Patterson has looked great for the Spartans. Graber has 6. Homestead down. 24 seconds to go. Sullivan puts up a shot in the lane. Floater, no good. Defensive rebound goes to Northridge. Down to 18 seconds to go in the first quarter. And head coach Doug Springer tells his team to slow down, take the final shot. Down to 10 seconds in this first quarter. Mahafa has it over to Weaver. Can't find anyone, drives inside, puts up a right-handed layup, no good. Offensive rebound down low, and at the buzzer, it is scored. That was Briley Froman, wide open underneath the basket. This is the 16-11 Spartan lead after the first quarter, and Patterson really dominated that first quarter. Aside from a few turnovers, Homestead looked very good in that one.
Yeah, Patterson she was able to get a lot of second chance points for Homestead. Every time they drove in and missed a shot, she was right there to get the rebound and put it back up, and that's why, she has 8 points. And Sydney Graber, she's been able to get some of the rebounds off of her own shots and get some points up too. So a lot of Homestead's points have been coming through the paint, and it's been working pretty efficiently.
Yeah, this Homestead team, by far the much taller team. It looks like the tallest, actually Northridge has about, looks like 4 players that are 5'10", and Homestead, obviously Patterson, 6'3", a sophomore, one of the best sophomores in the nation. We don't know where she's headed to college quite yet, as so many offers, a lot of big-time schools. Graber also 6 foot tall, so the height advantage definitely goes to the Spartans in this one as they lead by 5 points. Homestead up 16-11 as we start the second quarter, and it looks like Molly Stock, the freshman, who looked well in that game against Carmel, didn't score, didn't take a shot though, but she looked pretty good in that one against Carmel, handled the ball pretty well, and Riley Parker back in for the Spartans. So Graber, Kinsley, Patterson, and then Parker and Stock out there for the Spartans. It'll be Northridge ball to start the second quarter. It's only a 5-point game, but the Spartans lead this one, the number 1 ranked team in the state, coming off a 1-point win over Carmel last Saturday. Thanks to a Grace Sullivan free throw, Northridge has it under their own basket. Froman shot no good, stolen by Stock. Kinsley has it, takes up the court for the Spartans over to Patterson in the right corner. Nearly lost it out of bounds, back to Kinsley, over to Stock, calls out a play with the Spartan logo. Homestead leads 16-11, 7:37 to go in the second quarter. Dangerous pass by Stock, recovered by Graber. Drives beyond the arc now, takes it to Kinsley. Over to Stock, had a shot, and travel. She thought about the 3, but it was a little bit too far beyond the arc, and tried to pass it in the last second, tried to recover it, and just a traveling violation called on Stock. Homestead leads 16-11, 7:25 to go in the second quarter. Spartans, aside from numerous turnovers, they're looking pretty good in this one. By far the better team. Definite height advantage goes to Homestead. Patterson with 8 points early on in this one. Sydney Graber with 6. 7:19 to go in the second quarter. Homestead leads 16-11. Miller has it. Passes it over to Knapp. Nearly stolen by Amber Austin. Walker now with it for Northridge. Puts up a shot. Traveling violation, so a lot of turnovers from both these teams. A little bit sloppy early on. Homestead still with a 16-11 lead. 7:08 to go in the second quarter. And Stock will take the ball up the court for the Spartans. This one only a freshman, did not score in the first game against Carmel. Parker now has it on the left side. Bounce pass to Graber. Too hard, and it goes out of bounds. So another turnover on the Spartans. Turnovers are really the only bad thing that's happened for Homestead in this one. Patterson has looked incredible down low, able to finish. Graber also has looked pretty well underneath the basket, scored quite a few times. A 3-pointer by Knapp, that's no good. Homestead gets the defensive rebound. Spartans up 16-11, 6:43 to go in the second quarter. Graber has the ball in her hands. For the Spartans, top of the key, over to Parker. Wants to find Patterson down low, takes it back to Austin. Over to Graber now on the left side. Over to Stock. Homestead up by 5, 6:27 to go in the second quarter. Number 1 ranked team in the state, Homestead, against an 0-1 Northridge team. Stock to Patterson down low. Patterson puts up a shot, no good. It looks like it'll be an offensive foul on Patterson. Questionable call, but Northridge, as they've gotten a few calls against them early on in this one. Homestead still up 16-11, 6:19 to go in the second quarter. That was Patterson's first personal foul.
This game is being absolutely plagued by turnovers so far.
Yeah, a lot of offensive fouls and just sloppy turnovers in this one. Only second game of the season for both teams. You can kind of expect that. Northridge with the ball. They trail by 5, 6:06 to go in the second quarter. 3-pointer, right corner by Weaver. No good. Rebound goes to Graber for the Spartan. Stock takes the ball up the court for the Spartans. They lead by 5. No one has scored in quite a few minutes of game time. Graber draws the foul. Shot no good. So go to the line to shoot 2. Graber knocked down 4 free throws in the opening game of the season against Carmel. That foul was on Jules Weaver. That was only her first. And Weaver actually scored 16 points for Northridge against South Bend, Washington, so probably the most reliable score, but only her first personal foul. Grabers drains the first free throw as Sullivan checks in for Stock for the Spartans. It's Parker, Sullivan, Graber, Patterson, and Austin, the starting 5 out there for Homestead right now. Spartans lead 17-11, 5:52 to go in the second quarter. Graber's second free throw on the way, and that's no good off the back of the iron. Austin, the offensive rebound, puts up a shot, and she draws the foul. So Homestead, by far the much taller team in this one, they've completely dominated the boards. Amber Austin draws the shooting foul, and it looks like Colleen Miller is the one that picks up the foul for Northridge. Looks like that's her second. Austin, first free throw, it's good. So Amber Austin did not score against Carmel. Already up to 3 points in this one for the Spartans. Patterson has 8 and Graber has 6. And Ava Fisher, a freshman, checks in for Northridge as Weaver checks out, the team's leading scorer. Austin knocked down the first free throw for the Spartans. Second free throw, it's also good. So 2-2 at the line for Amber Austin. She's now up to 4 points. Homestead leads 19-11, 5:47 to go in the second quarter. Northridge with the ball. Homestead trying a press defense, looks like. Northridge barely gets it across the timeline. Stolen by the Spartans. Patterson on the other end. Blocking foul called. Patterson draws the foul. A good move as it looks like, she'll be on the line for 2 more free throws. So Patterson looked a little bit shaky in the first game, wasn't able to finish. Oh, actually, it looks like a player's down now for Northridge. But Patterson, she's looked really good in this one. Like I said, not the greatest game, still put up 12 points. That's what great players can do. Even when they're not shooting the best, they still find a way to score points, whether it be at the free throw line. But in this one, Patterson, 8 points to the team's 19. Has a chance to go to the line for a few more. Sydney Graber with 7 points for the Spartans. And it's been a pretty close game. It feels like Homestead, they've been the better team, but not quite able to pull away. Just turnovers and offensive fouls have really been what have been plaguing them in this one.
Yeah, it's just really both teams have been plagued by fouls. I mean, the height difference for Homestead between Northridge is just being forced to get these fouls in so that Homestead can't get these easy layups in the paint. It's been a rough game when it comes to turnovers and fouls for both teams.
Yeah, Homestead's shooting percentage is probably going to be pretty good, at least so far. I don't even know if they've taken they've taken a few threes in this one, not as many as the last game where they shot something like 21%. Patterson at the line for the Spartans. First free throw, no good. So Patterson with 8 points. Amber Austin has 4. Sydney Graber has 7. Grace Sullivan scored 8 points against Carmel. Has not scored yet. Patterson's second free throw, that's good. So Patterson up to 9 points in this first half. Homestead extends their lead to 9, 20-11, 5:31 to go in the second quarter. Homestead, aggressive defense, but on the other end, Northridge misses a wide open layup. Homestead, the defensive rebound. Sullivan wants to push it for the Spartans. Passes to Parker. Left corner 3. It's good! And Parker forces Northridge head coach Doug Springer to call a timeout. Homestead extends their lead to 12. And just like that, Parker knocks down a three-pointer. She had quite a few threes. That was actually her first basket of this one. She led the team against Carmel with 14 points, 7 rebounds, as Spartans up 23-11, 5:19 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, the first quarter, Riley Parker really just spent it just kind of getting warmed up, like a boxer in the first couple rounds, just feeling the other opponent. Now she's getting on. Now she's going on with the game.
So I guess if there is a positive sign, Amber Austin with 4 points early on in this one for the Spartans. Against Carmel, the team scored 47 points. But Grace Sullivan, Riley Parker, Sydney Graber, Ayanna Patterson combined for all 47 points. So Amber Austin did not score. The other starter, no one off the bench scored. So far, Austin has put up 4. No one off the bench has scored yet for the Spartans, but no one's really gotten a lot of playing time for Homestead as the Spartans are up 23-11, 5:19 to go in the second quarter, coming off the timeout called by Northridge. You need to take a little bit of a break as Parker knocked down that three-pointer for the Spartans. I believe Homestead on a 7-0 run right now. 5:18 to go in the second quarter. Homestead, a very aggressive defense, like a press defense, and so far it's working. But Northridge gets it across the timeline. That is Walker, puts up a shot, air ball. Spartan ball, they get the rebound. Sullivan on the other end for Homestead, finds Graber. Thought about the 3, and that's a travel. Good move, but just a turnover on the Spartans. Graber faked it 3, tried to drive in, took too many steps. A sub for Northridge. Looks like it's Weiner. Checks out for Knepp. Homestead leads 23-11, 4:59 to go in the second quarter. Northridge ball, Homestead trying this press defense again. Knocked away by Sullivan, and Homestead has it. Sullivan on the underneath her own basket. Parker has it over to Graber. Homestead with the ball by 12. Now they can slow it down a bit, and this defense. They really didn't try it against Carmel. It's looked really good. This press defense. Graber underneath the basket. Shot up, rolls around, doesn't fall. The defensive rebound goes to the Northridge Raiders. They trail by 12. And just a bad pass. It looks like it might have been deflected. And it looks like Allison Stevens, first time checking in this year for the Spartans, as Sydney Graber takes a seat on the bench. So Allison Stevens, one of 3 freshmen on the roster for this Homestead team, did not play in the other game. And three-pointer no good by Northridge. That was Walker. Gets her own offensive rebound. Northridge still trails by 12 points. 4:17 to go in the second quarter. It's Walker handles the ball, passes over to Weaver. 23-11, the Spartans lead. 4:10 to go in the second quarter. Northridge still with it, slowing it down a bit. Not the greatest offensive game from them yet in this one. Only 11 points, 4 minutes to go until halftime. It looks like Northridge really slowing it down. Weaver hands it over to Fisher. Homestead playing well in this one. The defense doing a great job. Nearly another steal by Sullivan. A three-pointer by Walker, and she rattles it in. A much-needed bucket for this Northridge team to cut the lead to only 9 now. 23-14, Homestead leads. 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Sullivan guarded very closely. Patterson now with it. Back to Sullivan. Austin. Stevens, a three-pointer. No good. Austin, the offensive rebound for the Spartans. She's rejected. Ball knocked around and recovered by Northridge. Raiders want to push it, and that will be a 3 by Montola. That's no good. Northridge gets their own offensive rebound. Rejected by Patterson. The shot by Jules Weaver was completely swatted out of bounds by Patterson. It'll be Northridge ball. They trail 23-14. 3:03 to go in the second quarter. It'll be Northridge to inbound under their own basket. Montola collects it for the Raiders. Hands it over to her teammate Weaver. Blocking foul called on the Spartans. They have a 9-point lead, 23-14. 2:57 to go in the second quarter. That was Riley Parker. Only her first foul. So once again, Ayanna Patterson, 9 points in this one for the Spartans. Sydney Graber, she has played well for the Spartans. She has 7. Sullivan, Stevens, Austin, Parker, and Patterson out on the court for the Spartans. Walker with it for Northridge. She was able to draw a foul. Doesn't look like it's at first they didn't signal it was a shooting foul. They call it on the court. That foul was committed by Allison Stevens of the Spartans. Only a freshman, first time playing the season. Northridge gets the inbound. Knepp drives baseline, puts up a layup, and it's good. A nice move by McKenna Knepp to cut it to a 7-point game. Homestead still leads 23-16, 2:43 to go in the second quarter. Homestead, they've led pretty much the entire way, but Northridge, they've hung around. Amber Austin, a mid-range jump shot, no good. Offensive rebound goes to Patterson. Knocked around. Foul on Northridge, so Patterson able to draw another foul. Looks like Graber and Yoder set to check in for the Spartans. That foul was on J.C. Walker, her first. So Patterson will have a chance to get to double digits for the Spartans. Has 9 right now. First free throw. It's good. So Patterson, 10 points in the first half. And Allison Stevens and Amber Austin take a seat on the bench. So Patterson, 10 of the team's 24 points, has another free throw coming. It's Sullivan, Parker, Patterson, Graber, and Yoder out in the court for the Spartans. Patterson's second free throw swishes it. So Ayanna Patterson up to 11 points, had 12 against Carmel. Nearly matched that in the first half. It'll be Northridge ball, 2:27 to go in the second quarter. Homestead leads 25-16. Spartans ranked number 1 team in Class 4 right now, coming off a 1-point win over Carmel last Saturday. 1-0 on the season. They're taking on Northridge, a team that lost by 4 to South Bend, Washington on Saturday. It's Raiders ball. They really slowed it down a lot in this one as Weaver trips and falls on the ground. Ball on the ground, a crazy sequence. No one can quite recover it, so it's called a jump ball. Possession error goes to the Spartans. Homestead leads 25-16, 2:03 to go in the second quarter.
There's just another example of this Homestead defense getting aggressive. Another jump ball, another great play.
And the defense in the 2019 season, the best ever by Rod Parker at 40.3 points per game in his 18 years as head coach at Homestead. And Sullivan, can't quite tell if that was deflected. Looks like it was, so it'll stay Homestead ball. Parker, Patterson, Graber, Sullivan, and Yoder out there for the Spartans. So Megan Yoder, the only one that's not a starter, out on the court for the Spartans. Amber Austin on the bench. Homestead leads by 9, 25-16, 1:52 to go in the second quarter. Sullivan with the ball for the Spartans. Homestead gets it over to Yoder. Passes to Graber. The Spartan logo over to Sullivan on the left side. Bounce pass to Patterson. Guarded by about 4 Northridge defenders. Looks like a double dribble called on her, so turnover on Patterson, but has 11 points in this one to lead the Spartans. Northridge ball, they trail by 9. A minute 34 to go until halftime. Homestead leads 25-16. Northridge, they have the ball. That is Knepp, drives inside, puts up a shot, draws a foul. See who that is called on. No one quite in foul trouble yet for the Spartans. That was Megan Yoder with the foul for the Spartans. I believe that was her first. Free throw by Northridge rolls around. That was Knepp. Cuts it to an 8-point game, but the Homestead still leads 25-17, 1:27 to go in the second quarter. Second free throw on the way for Knepp, and she drains it. It's a 7-point game. Homestead's led pretty much the entire game, but Northridge, they're hanging around. See if they can make a few stops before halftime, maybe cut it closer. Sullivan for the Spartans. Shot under the basket, rolls around and in. That's Grace Sullivan's first points of the game for Homestead at 8 against Carmel on Saturday. It's now 27-18. Homestead leads a minute 7 to go in the second quarter. Northridge ball. And Weiner has it. Foul drawn. Sock set to check in for the Spartans. That was Grace Sullivan. Picks up the foul after scoring her first basket of the game, so Megan Yoder checks out as Molly Stock checks in for the Spartans. Stock still not scored yet for the Spartans. Coming off the bench, only a freshman, but it'll be Northridge 1-1 at the line. They trail by 9. First free throw is good, so she gets another one. Looks like that's Weiner. Looks like that was her first points of the game. So an 8-point game, 1:04 to go in the second. Homestead leads. Second free throw, no good. Patterson the rebound. By far the tallest player on the court for either team. Homestead with the ball, 57 seconds to go in the second quarter. Parker on the right side, back to Sullivan. Homestead, Sullivan drives inside. Right-handed shot, and it goes in. Sullivan, what a crafty move. The junior scores the basket, increases the Spartan lead to 10, 40 seconds to go. Three-pointer by Northridge, in and out. That was Knepp. Patterson, the defensive rebound, looking to push it for the Spartans. Down to 33 seconds, Homestead leads by 10. Patterson, pull-up jump shot, no good. Defensive rebound goes to Froman for Northridge. 26 seconds to go. Before halftime, Northridge likely to hold for the final shot, do you think? Homestead with all their starters except for Amber Austin out there. Molly Stockin. Shot underneath the basket, no good by Northridge. Patterson, the defensive rebound. 12 seconds. Can the Spartans increase their lead? 29-19, Homestead leads. 7 seconds to go. Down to 5. Sullivan has the ball in her hands. Puts up a shot. No fouls called, and time will run out like that. So, sloppy half from both teams. A lot of turnovers, a lot of offensive fouls, a lot of sloppy fouls, but it is the Homestead Spartans' #1 ranked team in Class 4A. They lead 29-19 at the end of the second quarter. So going into halftime, Patterson with 11 points. She's looked really good in this one. Missed a few free throws, but has been able to finish consistently underneath the basket, and that's what you want if you're a Homestead fan. When she starts finishing underneath the basket, that's when the Spartans are at their best. And Braden, do you have some leading scores for us?
Well, Anaya Patterson is obviously the leading scorer for Homestead. She has 11 points. Sydney Graber behind her with 7 points. And for Northridge, Knepp has 6 points. And just behind her is Walker with 5.
So Homestead, the 29-19 lead at half. So we got about 10 minutes on the clock before the second half starts, and when we come back, we're going to talk some Homestead football. Obviously, the big regional championship game against Carmel tomorrow night. We'll give our insight on that one right after this. You're listening to Homestead Spartan basketball on the Point 91 FM.
Homestead athletic coverage on the Point 91 FM is brought to you by
Marco's Pizza, located at 1345 Illinois Road inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carry out by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Arby's at Coventry, located at 5755 Falls Drive across from Zesto's. Arby's is more than roast beef with turkey, ham, brisket, bacon, chicken tenders. Arby's has the meats. Arby's at Coventry is open for breakfast at 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. To find more information, find Arby's on social media and online at arbys.com.
And now, let's head back out to the gymnasium for more Homestead Lady Spartan basketball, right here on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back live to Homestead High School. We're currently at halftime between the number one ranked team in the state, Homestead, 1-0, coming off a 1-point win over Carmel last Saturday, and Northridge, a team that has been pretty good in the past 10 years or so. They've not lost more than 8 games since the 2008-2009 season. We're about 8 minutes or so away from the start of the second half, and like I said, let's talk some Homestead football. So the Spartans 11-0 on the season, coming off a dominant win over Carroll, 38-14. There were so many moments, and obviously you got to start with Jake Archbold. 4 interceptions, one of those returned for a touchdown, a passing touchdown. And remember, Lou Goody's a starting quarterback. It was kind of a wildcat-type play where he threw a passing touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. And Jake Archbold won the Player of the Week on OutsideTheHuddle.net, which well-deserved. But overall, Homestead, they take on the Carmel Greyhounds in what will not be an easy matchup tomorrow night. Carmel 8-3 on the season. They lost 41-14 against Louisville Trinity, one of the best teams in Kentucky. That was week 1 of the season, though. A lot has changed since then, and obviously lost to North Central by 6 and Ben Davis by 13. And probably something to note, Homestead, they struggled with Noblesville. I mean, they didn't play their best. They had quite a few turnovers, and now it was a long bus ride for the Spartans, about an hour and a half south. But Carmel, when they played Noblesville week 2 of the regular season, a lot has changed since then. But Carmel won 37-0 over Noblesville, a team that Homestead had to go to overtime with. And you would think Carmel, they are the favorite in this one despite being at Homestead. I mean, you never know what happens if Homestead starts playing well in this one.
Yeah, but Dylan Downing of Carmel football, the halfback for Carmel, he is stunning. He is a big bruiser. He's almost like Marshawn Lynch out there. He can run over people. He can zoom past everybody. He's just able that he's so good that if he can run straight through the defensive line, if he can get through there, I mean, good luck stopping him.
Yeah, this is by far the best team that Homestead has played in probably however far they go in the postseason, unless they can make it to the state championship. Carmel probably top 2, top 3 team in the state right now, at least in Class 6A. I know Homestead, they're 11-0, but Carmel, they're in the Indy area. Obviously, they play a lot of good teams. But that game is 7:30 tomorrow night, pushed back half an hour due to the time for Carmel to travel. It's still Friday. They didn't delay it to Saturday or anything like that. But Homestead, they entered quite as a heavy underdog, I guess you could say. I believe John Harrell's website who kind of does stats and has a lot of cool things for football stats around the state of Indiana. I believe he has Carmel winning something like 35-14. Outside the Huddle, I believe they have Carmel winning by a couple possessions. But I think it could be a close game. You never know if Luke Goody gets going. Obviously, basketball season right around the corner. Him and Jake Archbold going to play basketball, but football is the focus right now. Big matchup against the Carmel Greyhounds tomorrow night. And when the final AP poll or the media poll came out, probably about a month ago, Homestead tied for second, and Carmel, they're ranked 5th. The team in the number 1 ranked team in the state, Avon, they lost in the first round of the postseason. The other team tied with Homestead for second, Lafayette Jeff. They lost the first game of the postseason. Maryville, they're ranked 4th. They're still alive. They take on Warsaw. So the winner of Homestead Carmel will play the winner of Maryville and Warsaw. But Homestead, they have their hands full against Carmel. It's going to be a really tough task if the Spartans want to win their regional.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task indeed. But one way that they can definitely at least keep this game close and have a shot at it is taking advantage of Carmel's mishaps with turnovers. They have 16 interceptions on the season. That's about double the national average. And, well, when you have players like Jake Archibald who got 4 interceptions last week, you can definitely at least take some confidence in thinking, hey, if our defense can rattle this QB, considering it's a home game, and we have one of the strongest defensive lines in the state, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, I think the weather is gonna play a big role in the Wayne game. What was that, week 8 of the regular season? Feels like forever ago. Homestead won 24-0. I believe there were something like 14 combined fumbles in that one between the Spartans and the Generals. It was a very sloppy game. I believe Luke Goody had something like 40 passing yards, and neither team was able to throw the ball. It was gusting 15 to 20 miles per hour wind, and it was pretty much pouring rain the entire game.
Yeah, unlike that game, it's not going to be rainy, but it's definitely going to be chilly. You know, the later you get into the season, the closer and closer it gets to below freezing. We haven't had any snow games yet. I don't think this game will be a snow game, but it's surely going to feel like it with that wind chill.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure if you can say this is an advantage for Homestead, but obviously the northern part of Indiana gets colder sooner on, so they've played in some pretty cold games this season. Carmel or central Indiana, the climate stays a little bit warmer, maybe a few weeks longer, so I'm not really sure if you can count that as an advantage for the Spartans, but I think they're going to be more used to the cold weather than Carmel is, and outside the huddle, they have Carmel winning by 14 points, which is actually somewhat of a close game. Carmel, the heavy favorite in this one. They've proven year after year they can make it far in the postseason. Last year losing to Warren Central, who went undefeated. But you never know. If Homestead, I definitely believe they can knock off the Carmel Greyhounds. They just got to play a pretty good game. They can't have too many turnovers. They can't have a lot of penalties. And I guess we'll see what happens. Like we said, Carmel the favorite, but you never know if, like you said, Jake Archibald goes off, has another great game. But that one tomorrow night, 7:30 regional championship at Homestead High School, will be on the air probably 6:45, 6:50 or so with a pregame show. And actually back now to this game. We're just about a minute and a half away from starting the third quarter. Homestead girls basketball, number 1 ranked team in Class 4A this week, lead 29-19 over Northridge, a team that lost their first game of the season, but it was only by 4 points. So I think Northridge, they are a very good team, 0-1 now, and looks like Homestead's dominated this one. Northridge may fall to 0-2, but they're still a pretty good team. Wouldn't be surprised to see them get ranked in the near future. Just about a minute or so away from the start of the third quarter. Anna Patterson, she had 11 points for the Spartans in the first half. Sydney Graber had 7. McKenna Knepp had 6 for Northridge, and J.C. Walker had 5. And Braden, what do you think are some keys for the Spartans and even for Northridge heading into the second half? Obviously, Homestead a 10-point lead, but Northridge, they've hung on there pretty much the entire game. Just turnovers from both teams have kind of changed the outcome.
Well, the key for Homestead is to get the bench involved. So far, only 4 players have scored: Grace Sullivan, Graber, Patterson, and Amber Austin. If they can get some other players involved, they could definitely extend this lead and, you know, make Northridge a little shooken up. What Northridge needs to do is they need to slow down, stop turning the ball over, get less fouls, because they do have 1 player who has 2 fouls so far, and several others that have a foul on their book. So they just need to play less sloppy on offense.
Yeah, so second half about to start for this Homestead and Northridge game. 29-19 is the score. The Spartans lead. Starts the third quarter. It'll be Northridge Raider ball. Looking to get out to a hot start in this third quarter. Cut into that 10-point deficit they have right now. As Walker guarded closely by Austin. Step back jump shot. No good. Rebound goes to Patterson for the Spartans. Takes it across the court. Patterson in the paint puts up a shot and not able to finish. No good, and rebound goes to the Northridge Raiders. They still trail by 10. 7:38 to go in the third quarter. And Parker knocked it out of bounds, goes flying into the stands. And it'll still be Northridge ball. Knepp set to inbound for the Raiders. They trail by 10. Inbounds to Weinert. Northridge with it. So far in this game, in the first half, they really slowing it down quite a bit. Left corner, three-pointer by Knepp. No good. Would have been huge to cut into that Homestead lead, but the Spartans with the defensive rebound. And on the attack now, Sullivan into the paint, kicks out to Graber on the right side. She drives inside, puts up a wild shot, no good, and the rebound goes to Northridge. Still a 10-point Spartan lead, 7:09 to go in the third quarter. Northridge on the other end. That is Knepp. Thought about the three, top of the key, guarded closely by Sydney Graber for the Spartans. Homestead leads 29-19, 6:58 to go in the third quarter. Weinert has it, kicks it back out to our teammate Weaver, drives inside, puts up a shot, and it's good. It's now an 8-point game. Homestead still the leader in this one, but Northridge cutting into that. 6:42 to go in the third quarter. Spartans lead 29-21. Very low-scoring game. Patterson on the left side with the ball for the Homestead Spartans, number one ranked team in the state. Sullivan on the right side. Guarded closely. Can't find anyone, throws it. Tries to find Patterson, just goes out of bounds. Turnover on the Spartans. About a minute and a half into this third quarter. Homestead leads 29-21, 6:26 to go in the third quarter. Northridge ball. It's been a very sloppy game. And Homestead, they've led by, I believe 12 was their largest lead, but Northridge, they've hung around. They're definitely not out of it quite yet. Shot up by Weinert, and the foul is called on the Homestead Spartans. Grace Sullivan picks up the foul. That's her second personal. Not quite worried about foul trouble for her yet, but if she picks up another one soon, then probably will be a little bit worried. First free throw is good by Weinert. Makes it a 7-point game. Spartans lead 29-22, 6:12 to go in the third quarter. Another free throw coming by Weinert. That's off the mark. Rebound goes to Riley Parker for the Spartans. Sullivan now with it for Homestead. They lead 29-22, 6:04 to go in the third quarter. Graber with it over to Austin, top of the key. Right side for Riley Parker. Dribbles, picks up a dribble. Finds Graber, top of the key. Thought about the three. Drives inside. Out to Sullivan. Thought about the three. Didn't take it. Sullivan pull-up jump shot. No good. Off the front of the rim. Rebound tipped around. Goes to Patterson for the Spartans. Underneath the basket. Shot up. No good. Wild sequence. Ball still fought for. Finally recovered by Northridge. What a crazy sequence. Homestead not able to score. They have multiple chances on that last possession, but it's Northridge who comes away with the rebound. And it's Weaver, drives inside, kicks it out. Left corner, three-pointer, no good. Ball tipped around once again. Rebound goes to Walker. Up Northridge, fall for on the ground. Crazy play, a jump ball called. Homestead still leads by 7, 29-22, 5:21 to go in the third quarter. Patterson played well in this one for the Spartans, 11 points. Graber has 7 for the Spartans. Riley Parker with 3, Grace Sullivan with 4, Amber Austin with 4. So all the starters combined to score all the points right now. Sullivan takes the ball up the court for the Spartans. They lead by 7, 5:15 to go in the third quarter. Graber with it for the Spartans on the left side. Can't find anyone. Goes behind her back. Over to Austin, left corner. Dangerous place for the Spartans right now. Sullivan gets a screen from Graber. Takes it back to the Spartan logo. Homestead a 7-point lead. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Graber over to Parker. Thought about the three. Right side for Sullivan now. Homestead with the ball. They lead 29-22. 4:50 to go in the third quarter. And Northridge's defense looking very good to start this third quarter. Sullivan taking a lot of dribbles over to Graber. Left corner three. No good. Nearly recovered by Grace Sullivan. Just went off her hand. It'll be Northridge ball as Homestead. They still lead by 7. But about 3.5 minutes into this third quarter, they have not scored a single point. And this Northridge team with the ball, they've only scored 3 points. It's been a defensive battle in this third quarter. Spartans lead 29-22, 4:27 to go in the third quarter. Northridge ball, it's Weiner, kicks it out to Weaver on the right side, guarded by Parker. Gets a screen from Weiner. Over to Miller. Down low. It's blocked by Parker, but a foul is called. That was Weaver with the shot. No good. Another foul on Riley Parker. Another foul on the Spartans.
And both of these defenses have been really aggressive. The Northridge defense has been able to stop the offense, at least on the perimeter, maybe not the corners. And the Homestead defense is really going in on the interior.
First free throw, no good by Weaver. And coming into this one, we thought we'd see a lot more bench players get some playing time, and there have been a little bit of bench players that have gotten some playing time, but majority it's been the starters out there for the Spartans. Second free throw, good. It's a 6-point game. Northridge definitely not out of this one yet. Still about 12 minutes total left in this one. 4:07 to go in the third quarter. Homestead leads 29-23, have not scored this quarter. And that changes with that Sidney Graber bucket as Homestead extends their lead to 8 now. 31-23, 3:56 to go in the third quarter. Northridge ball. It's Weiner with it. Kicks it over now to Weaver on the left side. Top of the key for Knepp. Blocking foul called on Sidney Graber for the Spartans. Homestead leads 31-23. 3:46 to go in the third quarter. That was Sidney Graber's second personal foul. In Northridge has been pretty much not back and forth, not quite like the Carmel game, but Homestead, they've gotten out to a 10 or 12-point lead, but the Northridge able to cut into that lead, and it's only 8 right now.
Yeah, like you said, Northridge, it's not really a back-and-forth game like it was with Carmel. Northridge, however, has been able to get the game closer after this first half. It seems like they really have taken control, at least defensively. Their offense has been a little slow still, considering that they don't have that height advantage that Homestead does, so Homestead's been able to get in the interior and contest a lot of their shots.
Homestead leads 31-23, 3:46 to go in the third quarter. It'll be Northridge ball. And Weiner with the ball, gets a screen from her teammate. Weaver now with it. Homestead trying a new type of defense, looks like some type of zone maybe. Left corner for Northridge, they trail by 8, 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Right side three for Northridge, it's good! 5-point game. Homestead still leads in this one. Northridge slowly coming back, 31-26. The Spartans are up. 3:19 to go in the third quarter. Sullivan got it very close across the timeline. Parker, her own three-pointer, no good. That would have been a huge momentum shifter in this one. But Homestead, the offensive rebound, and Graber draws the foul. So Parker not able to hit the three, but Homestead chances some more points. Sidney Graber at the free throw line, and that foul was on J.C. Walker, second personal foul. Colleen Miller has 2 for Northridge, so no one quite in foul trouble yet. Actually, Homestead has 3 players with 2 personal fouls: Grace Sullivan, Riley Parker, and Sidney Graber. And Graber's first free throw is good. Homestead is back up to a 6-point game. Some subs come in for Northridge. Homestead with their starting 5 out there right now: Austin, Patterson, Graber, Parker, and Sullivan. Graber's second free throw for the Spartans to make it a 7-point game if it's good. And she drains it now, 33-26. The Spartans lead, 3:08 to go in the third quarter. Homestead trying a press defense, knocked out of bounds by Grace Sullivan. And it looks like Maggie Kinsley checks in for Amber Austin. So the 4 starters minus Amber Austin, Kinsley out there on the court for the Spartans now. Northridge ball, they only trail by 7. Much closer one than probably many people thought. Homestead ranked number 1 in the state. Northridge dropped their first game of the season. Shot no good by the Raiders. Rebound goes to the Spartans. Sullivan has it. Pushing the pace. Takes a three-pointer. And it goes in. It bounced off the rim and it is dropped in. I believe that's her first three-pointer of the year for Grace Sullivan. It's now 36-26. The Spartans lead. 2:34 to go in the third quarter. And Spartans a lot of momentum right now. Left corner for the Raiders. That is Miller. Kick out top of the key. That is Weinert. drives inside, foul is drawn, so it'll be going against the Spartans in this one, but what a nice three-pointer by Grace Sullivan. A previous play, I believe, her first three-pointer of the season. As actually, that's Sydney Graber's third personal foul on the Spartans. It'll be Northridge ball. They trail by 10. It's 36-26 Homestead, 2:22 to go in the third quarter. And jump shot is good. A two-pointer by Northridge. It's now 36-28, 2:13 to go in the third quarter. Sullivan with the ball for the Spartans, over to Graber on the right side. Patterson has it. Parker now with it for the Spartans. They lead by 8. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 36-28. Graber, mid-range jump shot, drains it. It's back to a 10-point Spartan lead. Homestead trying out their press defense now. Northridge get it across half court. Ball fought for on the ground, recovered by the Spartans. Patterson, 2-on-1, and it's blocked. And on the other end, it is Northridge. Stolen by the Spartans, and Patterson's on the ground for Homestead. And Sullivan puts up a shot, and it's good. It's waved off. Patterson's still on the ground for the Spartans. Didn't see what happened, but she fell to the ground as Homestead. They lead 38-28. 1:32 to go in the third quarter, and shot was no good. Actually, they wave it off for the Spartans. This is a scary sight if you're a Homestead fan. Patterson, the team's best player on the ground right now. Homestead, they still have a 10-point lead. Sydney Graber with 3 personal fouls, so 2 more. She's out of this one, but right now the concern is Patterson. She put up 11 points in the first half. Sydney Graber leads the team with 13 points right now. Patterson's still on the ground for the Spartans. And it's a 10-point game, but Northridge, they're definitely not out of it. They've hung around the entire game, unlike the Carmel game where I believe the biggest lead was 6 points, which was by Homestead. This one has been pretty much the Spartans leading the entire way. Northridge slowly coming back, making a few shots, and Homestead able to increase to a double-digit lead. Patterson still on the ground for the Spartans. This is not a good sight as Homestead, they have a 38-28 lead over Northridge. 1:32 to go in the third quarter, and Patterson sits up now, still on the ground. Not a good sight for the Spartans as Patterson on the ground. As Homestead ranked number 1 in Class 4A. They take on the Wayne Generals this Saturday. A team they beat twice in the, twice in the season last year. Once in the regular season, once in the postseason. Patterson up on her feet now. Appears to be limping. It looks like it's a right footer leg. Can't quite tell, but looks like she's not going to be coming back based on how she's walking. So it looks like Megan Yoder will come in for the Spartans. So Homestead lose their best player, Patterson, out right now to some apparent injury. As Homestead, they still lead by 10, 38-28, 1:32 to go in the third quarter. It'll be Homestead ball. Sullivan set to inbound, so a lot of the size advantage thrown out the window now with Patterson off the court for the Spartans. Sullivan can't find anyone, finds Kinsley. Over to Parker. Yoder. Sullivan out with it. It's Sullivan, Parker, Kinsley, Graber, and Yoder out in the court for the Spartans. Yoder now with it on the left side, finds Kinsley, excuse me. Down low to Graber and draws the foul. So Graber going to the free throw line. She has 13 points in this one for the Spartans. Foul called on Northridge. Jules Weaver, that's her second personal foul. So Grace Sullivan, 2 personal fouls. Riley Parker, 2 personal fouls. And Sydney Graber, 3 personal fouls. So a little bit of foul trouble for the Spartans. First free throw is good by Graber. Sub comes in for Northridge. So on the court, it's Kinsley, Yoder, Graber, Sullivan, and Parker for the Spartans. No Patterson and no Austin for Homestead, 2 of the team's starters. Graber's second free throw is good. She increases her point total now with 15 points, leads all scores. Homestead up 40-28, 1:12 to go in the third quarter. Ball fought for on the ground. About 5 players dive for it. Kinsley initially had it. Homestead. Graber with the spin move and puts the shot up, and it's good. A crazy sequence. But Homestead able to finish underneath the basket. Graber now with 17 points in this one. Northridge down by 14, 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Raiders have it. 3 ball from the left corner, and that's off the back of the iron. Rebound goes to the Spartans. You think maybe, and Coach Parker yells out, hold it for the final 37 seconds of this third quarter. Homestead up 42-28. Heading into what will probably be the fourth quarter. Still 27 seconds to go in this third quarter. Sullivan with it for the Spartans. Drives inside, puts up a layup, and it's good. So Homestead, they actually go a little bit early. Still 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's now 44-28, the Spartans lead. Tough defense played by Kinsley and Sullivan. And ball nearly stolen, but Northridge still with it. Wide open shot by Northridge, no good. 5 seconds, offensive board and up and shot is good. 1 second, 0 seconds, full court heave by Graber, no good. So a crazy sequence. Final few minutes, Spartans lose Patterson with some type of apparent injury. But the Spartans are still up 44-30. Still, it feels like a closer game than 14 points right now. It feels like it's been, like I said, not quite back and forth. Spartans in control this one, but Northridge, they're always just a few shots away from making it really interesting.
Yeah, now that Patterson is probably out of the game, Northridge might be able to make it even closer, as Patterson has been the main issue for Northridge when it comes to both defending and being on the offense in the paint, as she's been getting a lot of blocks, a lot of rebounds, and a lot of second chance points. So maybe Northridge can find a way to take over in the paint.
It looks like the Spartans outscore Northridge 15-11 in that third quarter. And Homestead, Sydney Graber, 10 points, I believe. She only had 7.5 now with 17. So 10 of the team's 15 points in that third quarter. Spartans lead by 14 points. If you're just joining us, Homestead led pretty much the entire game. I'm Matt Soffering alongside Braden Carroll. And high school girls basketball matchup, number 1 ranked Homestead in Class 4A, coming off a 1-point win over Carmel last Saturday. Northridge coming off a 4-point loss against South Bend, Washington, also last Saturday. Northridge to start with the ball in this fourth quarter. Sullivan, Graber, Yoder, Parker, and Kinsley in there for the Spartans right now out on the court. Left side for Knapp. She finds Weiner. Right side for Weaver. Back to Weiner, top of the key. And pass sails out of bounds. Just missed her teammate, and it'll be a turnover on Northridge. Homestead. Already up by 14 points, but no Patterson. Went out with an injury about midway through the third quarter. Homestead leads 44-30, 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Yoder to Graber, top of the key. Sullivan can't find Kinsley down low. Parker left corner. And a screen by Graber. Kinsley underneath the basket, scores her first points of her varsity career. Maggie Kinsley increases the Spartan lead to 16. It's 46-30 Homestead over Northridge. 7:08 to go in the fourth quarter. Maggie Kinsley, her first basket on the varsity level. Nice to see someone new score for the Spartans. One of the first baskets scored off the bench, but Northridge have the ball. Foul called. It looks like that'll be on Kinsley. That's her second. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's the first points off the bench this season, right, for Homestead, that basket by Kinsley?
Yeah, I believe so.
So Northridge ball, top of the key. It's Montella. Gives it over to Weiner on the left side. Weaver now with it, passes back to Weiner. Drives right side, kick out in the corner. Northridge now passing it all around. They trail by 16. 6:38 to go in the fourth quarter. It's Weaver, puts up a shot underneath the basket. Wide open layup is missed. Homestead can slow it down now. Not the greatest offensive game from either team. But Homestead with the ball. They lead 46-30, 6:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Graber underneath the basket. Shot is good. Sydney Graber, incredible in this one. 12 points, I believe, in the second half alone. Had 7 points in the first half, now up to 19. And Graber, actually, that's her highest in the last 2 seasons. She had 18 points against Snyder in the regular season last season now is 19 against Northridge. Tonight a timeout is called by Northridge. But Homestead up by 18 points, 48-30, 6:14 to go in the fourth quarter. And you think Northridge, they've got to get something going on the offensive end soon if they want any chance of coming back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they have 6 minutes, so there's enough time to keep this game, or at least get this game closer. I wouldn't say that there's a solid chance that they can win, considering how good Graber's been playing in this second half, taking advantage of I've said this too many times, the height advantage.
Yeah, but with Patterson out, for the Spartans, looked like she was helped out of the gym. She was on the ground for a few minutes. Not quite sure what the injury was. Appeared to be limping on her right leg, but I don't see there's a chance of her returning in this one. So the Spartans will need to do it. It'll be Graber, Amber Austin, Megan Yoder, Grace Sullivan, and Riley Parker out on the court for the Spartans. All upperclassmen. We have seen Molly Stock, a freshman, get some playing time along with Allison Stevens, another freshman. Right now it's all juniors and seniors out on the court for the Spartans. Northridge with the ball. They trail by 18, 48-30. 6:08 to go in the fourth quarter. They have the ball. It is Walker who passes over to Weaver. Stock set to check in for the Spartans. As Knepp has it in the right corner for Weaver. Northridge with it, guarded by Yoder. Hold foul called on the Spartans. That's Riley Parker, third personal foul. So the Spartans in actually quite a bit of foul trouble. Grace Sullivan checks out with 2 personal fouls. So Riley Parker with 3, Maggie Kinsley with 2, and Sydney Graber with 3 personal fouls. So a few more in Homestead. They could be going deep into their bench when pretty much the starters have scored the majority of their points this season through about a game and 3 quarters or so. But Northridge with the ball, they trail by 18, in need of some points very soon if they want any chance in this one. Montala gives it over to Walker. Northridge, they got to attack the basket soon. They can't keep slowing it down like this if they want to come back down by 18. 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And they're just taking their time. They're not attacking the basket at all. A very long possession. They trail 48-30, 5:20 to go in the fourth quarter. They finally start to attack the basket, and it's stolen away by the Spartans. That was Stock who stole it. Cross-court pass for Yoder. Bounce pass to Austin. Back out to Yoder. Red corner 3. No good. And bounces out of bounds. Yoder had a nice look at 3. Not able to knock it down, though. But it'll be Northridge ball. They trail by 18 points. 5:05 to go in the fourth quarter. In need of quite a few baskets if they want to come back in this one. Homestead up 48-30. On the other end, it is Montala. Top of the key now for Northridge. It is Miller with it. Right side for Knepp. Northridge not really attacking the basket. That'll be a foul on Molly Stock. That's only a first, so she can afford to give up a few personal fouls, but Homestead, I believe that was their 7th team foul. So they're in the bonus now. Out on the court for the Spartans is Sydney Graber, Riley Parker, Amber Austin, Megan Yoder, and Molly Stock. So Kinsley was in the game a few minutes ago. Just came out as Stock replaced her first. The 1-and-1, no good. Homestead, the defensive rebound, still 48-30. 4:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Stock with it, goes between her legs. Back to the Spartan logo. Over to Yoder, finds Graber. In the paint, puts up a shot. And of course she finishes. Sydney Graber putting on a show for the Spartans, now up to 21 points in this one. It's a 20-point lead for the Spartans, 50-30, 4:19 to go in the fourth quarter, and basket on the other end, good by Northridge. Is down to an 18-point game. Stock handles the ball. Crazy sequence as Austin harassed by about 3 Northridge defenders. Foul called against the Raiders. That foul was called on Briley Frillman. Is Allison Stevens, someone that did not play against Carmel, played a few minutes in the first half. She's getting some more playing time. It looks like Megan Yoder goes to the bench. So Parker, Stevens, Stock, Austin, and Graber out on the court as Stock set to inbound for the Spartans. Can't find anyone, finds Graber. Out to Stock. thought about taking a shot. Now takes it back out. Homestead, 18-point lead, 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You think it's probably safe at this point. Northridge, they haven't been too aggressive on the offensive end. Austin with it. Over to Stock on the right side. Homestead leads 50-32, 3:51 to go in the fourth quarter. Graber, crossover, tries to do a spin move, loses it. Back to Parker, gets a screen from Graber. Kick out Graber, top of the key, 3, drains it! Sydney Graber up to 24 points in this one for the Spartans. 53-32 with the Spartans lead. And Graber taking over 17 points in the second half for Homestead. She's unstoppable right now. Foul called against Homestead, but Northridge, they have no answer right now for Sydney Graber.
Yeah, the Northridge defense has been very good in the paint, but as they keep their forwards inside, they're leaving the corners wide open, and Homestead has been taking advantage of that with some shots putting up there.
And Sydney Graber takes a seat on the bench, probably done for the game. A 24-point performance, 17 coming in the second half, and a new face, Megan Helmkamp, out on the court now for the Spartans. First time playing on varsity the entire season, and the free throw is good by Northridge. It's now a 20-point game, 53-33. So it's Parker, Austin, Helmkamp, Stevens, and Stock out there right now for the Spartans. Second free throw by Northridge, that's good. Walker knocks it down. It's now a 19-point game. Montella checks in for the Raiders. This one's probably over. Homestead leads by 19. 3:24 to go in the fourth quarter. 53-34. Spartans, number 1 ranked team in the state for a reason. They've played really well in this one. Stevens can't find anyone for the Spartans. Eventually gets it to Stock. Now Northridge trying some type of trap defense, full court press, and jump ball called. Looks like the possession arrow goes to Homestead. Spartans up 53-34, 3:17 to go in the fourth quarter. Homestead ball in the full court. Stevens finds Stock. Over to Parker, crosses the timeline. Helmkamp has it. Over to Stock. Homestead can really slow it down now. Up by 19, 3:05 to go in the fourth quarter. Graber on the bench with 24 points for the Spartans. Patterson went out of the game with an injury earlier on in this one. Austin underneath the basket scores again. Amber Austin now up to 6 points in this one for the Spartans. Didn't score against Carmel, but has looked pretty good in this one. It's now a 55-34 lead over Northridge, the number 1 ranked team in the state. Homestead dominating in the second half, and really the last half of the third quarter and on. Homestead up by 21, 2:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Another sub set to check in for the Spartans. A wild shot by Miller, and it's no good. 2:27 to go in the fourth quarter. Spartans on their way to improving to 2-0 on the season. 55-34, 21-point lead for Homestead. Helmkamp has it. Passes to Austin underneath the basket. Out to Parker. Helmkamp with it on the left side. Stevens, top of the key. Passes out to Parker. Homestead with the ball. Stock now with it, really slowing it down. Calls out a play. Down to 2:03 to go in the fourth quarter. Helmkamp over to Stevens. Puts up a shot. It's good. Allison Stevens scores for the Spartans. That's her first point. Her first basket of the season. It's now 57-34, a 23-point lead for the Spartans. 1:43 to go in this one. Homestead looking really good in the second half. Northridge ball, and they're just not attacking the basket at all in this one. I think they're taking way too long of a time on their possessions to even go with the basket right now. They're still taking quite a lot of time, not going for it at all. A nice move by Sock to make a play on the ball. Northridge just really holding it right now, but they'll go to the free throw line. It'll be Erin Mahafa, the 5'6" senior forward, as Sydney Freem and Mary Catherine Landrigan checks in for the Spartans. Amber Austin and Riley Parker go to the bench, so all bench players out there for Homestead right now. A lot of players that didn't get any playing time against Carmel, but 1:23 left, and rebound goes to Helmkamp for the Spartans. Over to Stevens. Homestead up 57-34, 1:18 to go in the fourth quarter. Helmkamp handles the ball, hands it off to Landrigan. Underneath the basket, Stevens rejected. Her offensive rebound is good, so Stevens, another basket for the Spartans. She's now up to 4 in this one for Homestead. They increased their lead to 59-34, a minute to go in the fourth quarter. All bench players in now for the Spartans and looking pretty good as a unit, able to put up some points. Northridge still not attacking the basket. The whole game they've not been in a rush to score points, and it's clearly showing on the scoreboard. They only have 34 compared to Homestead's 59. Underneath the basket, shot is good, and the foul. Nice move by Erin Mahafa to have a chance at an and one. That's an aggressive play if you're a Northridge fan. That they probably should have been trying pretty much the entire game. They really slowed it down, the pace, in the second half, and that's been the biggest difference, just not taking enough shots. And the free throw is good. It's a 22-point game, 35 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Travel on Helmkamp. I didn't quite see a travel there, but it'll be Northridge ball either way. 59-37, the Spartans lead, a 22-point lead for the number 1 ranked team in the state. 33.2 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And Northridge down by 22. Could be the final possession of the game. Nope, they take a 3 and drain it. So now Northridge starting to tally up some points. It's now a 19-point game. Ball deflected, and Northridge with it again. Have another chance to score. Thought about the 3. Right corner for the Raiders. Shot inside. Foul, but shot is no good. It's 8.9 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Homestead leads 59-40. All bench players out there for the Spartans. It's Stock, Helmkamp, Stevens, Landrigan, and Freem. Free throw by Northridge is good. That was Mantilla. It's now an 18-point game, so I guess Northridge scoring a decent amount of points the final minute to make it look a little bit closer, but second free throw no good. Get the offensive rebound. That was Mahafa. Cross-court pass for Weinert. Down to 3 seconds, puts up a shot, no good. Air ball, rebound goes to the Spartans, and that's it. Homestead picks up the 59-41 win over Northridge. Sydney Graber scored 24 points in this one. Anna Patterson at 11 points in the first half. Went down with an injury, did not return. Not quite sure what it was, but a good win for this Homestead team. Got to see a lot of bench players in action, and they looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, they looked very impressive. The bench was able to put up some points, unlike the game against Carmel. We had Allison Stevens putting up 4. We had Maggie Kensley putting up 2. It was just an all-around good game by Homestead, outside of a couple mistakes here and there when it came to turnovers.
Yeah, in the first half, it was a much closer battle. The Spartans, they led by 10. Going into the break, 29-19. But in the second half, the Spartans completely dominated. Sydney Graber took over. Something crazy. I think it was like, 12 or 14 points in the second half alone. Actually, no, 17 points in the second half. I believe she had 7 in the first half. So Graber, the best game that she's had probably in her career in this win against a very good Northridge team. So Homestead, they pick up the win, improve to 2-0 on the season, 2-0 in the non-conference, 2-0 at home. The winning streak now at 2. The Spartans shot the ball much better in this one. Didn't take quite as many threes. They look very good, and like you said, aside from a few sloppy turnovers in the first half, they dominated pretty much the entire game. And Homestead, this girls basketball team, they're back in action away at Wayne. Wayne's 1-1 on the season. We'll see if they're able to pick up a win tonight against Blackford, but that one tip-off set for approximately 7:30 Saturday, the 16th. The Spartans will travel to the Wayne Generals. Another matchup, and obviously the big football game against Carmel tomorrow. Any final comments, Braden, on this one? A nice 18-point win for the Spartans.
Well, it was indeed a great win. This was the second straight game where the leading scorer for Homestead has passed their season high from the previous year, so it's definitely been a great start for these starters. And, their defense has been able to hold back teams pretty well compared to what Homestead scores, making the games pretty far away and not that close. Well, now that I think about it, the Carroll game was pretty close, but this game wasn't. It was just a very all-around great game by Homestead. Hopefully we can see some more action for the bench players, and you can definitely look ahead to the future with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, the bench players did a pretty good job. Sidney Graber, 24 points in this one. And before we leave, we want to give a quick thanks to some of our sponsors, including Casa Ristorante, Moe's Southwest Grill, Arby's at Coventry, and Marco's Pizza at Illinois Road and Scott Road. We also want to give a very special thanks to our board operators and Mr. Andy Dunn back on the studio for their off-site producing, along with on-site producer Mr. Adam Schenkel for taking care of the arena technology. Once again, your final score is Homestead 59, Northridge 41. The Spartans improved to 2-0 on the season. They play Wayne this coming Saturday, but Homestead still ranked number 1 in the state. They avoided the trap game against the Raiders. Sidney Graber, a great game, 24 points. Patterson had 11 points in the first half before going down with an injury in the second half, in the third quarter specifically, did not return. But for Braden Carroll, I'm Matt Stallfrank. Thank you for listening to another presentation of Homestead Spartan Basketball on the Point 91 FM. Enjoy what is left of your Thursday, and we will see you right back here tomorrow night as the Homestead football team puts their undefeated record on the line as they host the Carmel Greyhounds in a regional matchup. Kickoff for that game is set at 7:30 instead of the usual 7 o'clock. We should be on the air with a pregame show around 6:50. Signing off from Homestead High School, this has been another Homestead High School athletic event presented on the Point 91 FM.